All right, in today's explainer, we are cutting right through all the noise to give you a really clear, science-backed guide on how to use food to fight inflammation. We're going to cover what to eat, how much, and most importantly, why it actually works.
So let's just dive right in. The big question is this: do you want to turn down your body's internal inflammation dial? And it's a super important question because, as you're about to see, that little dial can have a massive impact on your health in the long run.
And you know what? The answer is surprisingly simple. You don't need some complex, expensive protocol. You can start making a real, measurable difference with the very next thing you decide to put on your fork.
Okay, so if we're going to turn down that inflammation, we've got to understand exactly what it is we're up against first.
The best way to think about chronic inflammation is like a smoke alarm in your body that's just stuck on. You know, a little bit of inflammation is actually a good thing. It's how you heal from an injury. But when it becomes this low-grade, constant background noise, that's when it becomes a real problem. Scientists can actually measure this, by the way, using markers in your blood like C-reactive protein, or CRP.
And make no mistake, this is not some minor issue. That alarm bell that's constantly ringing, it's a major player in some of the most serious health conditions out there. We're talking heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, even some types of cancer. So yeah, the stakes are pretty high.
So how do we start to turn it off? Well, the most important thing to get your head around is that we have to start with a solid foundation. There's no single magic bullet here. And this is probably the most important takeaway of this whole explainer. It's all about synergy, not one single magic food. A Mediterranean-style diet, for example, is so powerful because all its different parts work together. The science shows this approach significantly lowers those key inflammatory markers. It's really like the whole team is winning the game, not just one star player. And that pattern isn't about restriction at all. It's about what you build your meals on. So you're basing your meals on tons of vegetables, adding in legumes and whole grains, making extra virgin olive oil your main fat, and then making sure you're getting fruits, nuts, and fish in that regularly. Okay, so once you've got that foundation locked in, you can bring in the real power players. These are 4 specific food groups that pack a really potent, measurable, anti-inflammatory punch. First up, extra virgin olive oil. This stuff is fascinating because it contains a compound called oleocanthal. And get this, it works in a way that is remarkably similar to ibuprofen, directly tamping down inflammation. Just aiming for 1 to 2 tablespoons a day can have a real effect on those CRP levels we talked about.
Next on the list, fatty fish. Yep, we're talking salmon, sardines, mackerel. The omega-3s in these fish are absolute superstars when it comes to lowering inflammatory markers like CRP and a bunch of other messenger signals in your body. 2 or 3 servings a week is a fantastic goal to aim for.
Then we have berries. You know those beautiful deep colors in blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries? Well, they come from pigments called anthocyanins. And they're not just for looks, not at all. These compounds actively calm inflammation right down at the cellular level. 1 to 2 cups a day is a pretty delicious target, right? And our 4th power player, fermented foods. Things like yogurt, kefir, and kimchi are just amazing for your gut. What they do is increase the diversity of all the good microbes in there, and that directly leads to a significant drop in multiple inflammatory signals all over your body. All right, so with that foundation and those power players in place, we can start to round out the team with a really strong supporting cast. Think of these as the enhancers that just boost the overall anti-inflammatory effect of everything else you're doing. Let's talk spices. Turmeric has curcumin, which is an incredibly powerful anti-inflammatory, especially if you pair it with a little black pepper. And then there's ginger, with its active compound gingerol, which has also been proven to knock down that key marker, CRP. Just a little bit of these each day can go a really long way. Next up, nuts. See this number here, 28 to 42 grams? That's basically your ideal daily target. It's about a small handful of walnuts, almonds, or pistachios. It's such an easy swap for something like chips or crackers, and you get healthy fats and antioxidants that actually help your blood vessels work better. And finally, we can't forget about fiber. Fiber is literally the fuel for the good bacteria living in your gut. And when you feed them well with things like beans, veggies, and whole grains, they thank you by producing these amazing, natural, inflammation-fighting compounds for you. This here is just a simple formula to help you hit that daily goal. Okay, that's a lot of info, I know. So the big question is, how do we put all of this into practice?
We've covered the why and the what, so now let's build a simple game plan that you can start using like this week.
The absolute key here is to make this manageable, right? So here is a simple action plan. Just break it down into daily habits, like using your olive oil, getting your berries in, and then weekly goals, like hitting that fatty fish target. This is exactly how you build a sustainable, inflammation-fighting lifestyle that actually sticks. Let's end with this one powerful thought. What you're doing here isn't just healthy eating in some vague sense. It is measurable, powerful medicine for your body. The power to change that inflammation dial really is right there, at the end of your fork.